All right, we're back. So
We're back.
I think we're going to start off. I'm going to tell you that you all sensed Tarte of Nepishtim returning to your Imperator and Omaya to request his entrance into creation. Um, More pressing, though, a Wanderlust, you can feel your copy. Like, it has looked at everything exciting in the chancel, and now it's in the room with the Imperator, and it's looking at the portal into the spirit world, and it's going to pass through and be like, oh my gosh, I can travel to other worlds? What is this?
I
Wait,
mean,
there's a copy of Wanderlust?
Yep.
Yeah, I copied Wanderlust. Wanderlust just hasn't done anything yet.
Alright.
Luckily, it is non-Imperator Wanderlust, right?
Right.
Or non-Nobilis
It's
Wanderlust.
Non-nobility.
pre Nobilis Wanderlust. But it is
Um,
also still an anchor of Asilos.
yeah, and it can travel nearly anywhere.
Yeah, and I think I would like to take that away from. I don't like the idea of former me being a slave to something else.
Okay? But the only
I'd
way
like
to
to
do
make.
that is to make it an anchor of yourself.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna do.
All right. So you gotta defeat it in miraculous combat. You know where it is, and you know what it is about to do. It's about to going to leave the chancel
Yep.
into the spirit realm.
So I will. I guess attempt to stop it.
Sure. So how do you want to stop it?
Um, I mean, I could just sense that portal is a thing of travel. I could probably just stop it from working, correct?
You want to destroy it forever or temporarily?
No, just temporarily.
Sure. Let me look at your persona attributes. Yeah, sure, you could do that. So it'd be persona. It'll be a destruction. That's a lesser sacrifice. So you can do that for free.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
you,
I'll just make the portal stop working and then hopefully catch up to former me.
sure. So it probably notices that the way out is gone and is super confused because it looked really interesting.
Wanderlust with nowhere to wander but this tiny chancel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like looking at the spot and trying to figure out how it can open it again or why it's gone.
It's like bouncing against it like a fly on a window trying to get outside.
Right, pretty much.
So yeah, I think I will come up behind me and yeah, I'll lay a hand on or just outstretch a hand because the thing isn't uh, physical at
Right,
all.
it's not physical. It doesn't localize the way you do. It doesn't know
Mm-hmm.
about communication yet. But it, like,
But you can probably speak to it, I'd imagine, since you used to be it.
Yeah, I know how to. I don't think there's any real speaking to pushing a force at it like a miracle should probably have some effect.
yeah, you can miracle it. Like, you could
Yeah.
speak to it, but I don't think you understood what communication was. So you'd be like, oh, they're
Mm-hmm.
words. They're not aimed at me. That's just weird.
Yeah. So I think I'll just outstretch a hand and try to just rip control away from what was the name of that Imperator again?
SLO? To
Oh,
exclusion?
Salal. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
And let's see, I've got
Okay.
And I can drop 4, and I can make it a 12 if needed.
I mean, it's more likely he's got to do it multiple times. So I think this is going to be a difficulty 6 Persona Miracle. So
Difficulty 6 Persona?
yeah, it'll be a lesser binding. You may use difficulty 6 Persona Miracles to change how someone relates to your state, to change what your state means to them. You can make them a guardian, bound to some portion of your estate, or make your estate their enemy, etc. I think this is the appropriate combat level for trying to steal an anchor away.
Oh, okay. I don't have to like just make it an anchor better than he did. I actually have.
Yeah.
Oh,
You can't
okay.
just make it an anchor. You have to actually defeat it.
All right.
So yeah, lesser binding. I guess that'll cost you 1 MP, and
Mhm.
then we'll just say you have to do it 3 times, and then it will no longer be able to resist your anchoring.
Okay.
Like you've defeated it for sure.
All right. So I'll spend that 3 MP.
Yep. All right. So yeah, like you have. I think like you feel it trying to escape, but there's nowhere for it to escape. Like wherever it goes, you can go faster and better, and like you know what it's going to try and do because it's like an animal almost, right? Like I don't know if it has cunning.
Not unless there's. Yeah, not really. It's more just it implants an impulse in people. It's more of a parasite.
Right. So it has no chance against you. And eventually you can anchor it. So we'll say you anchor it. Usually it's a bit of your blood, but you don't have a body. So what do you give it instead of your blood?
I give it. I think knowledge. I give
Okay.
it some of my knowledge.
Cool. All right. I think when your knowledge enters it, like you feel the bond coalesce, and it becomes your anchor, and it like perceives you in some way, but I guess it can communicate with you now. And it's like, what?
Trust me, I know exactly what you're going. Just relax. You're going to be experiencing some very new things, some very wondrous things, and just know that now there are no limits on where you go. But don't go just yet. We have some things to discuss.
Okay. And I think it just follows you around like a puppy.
Nice. I've got. Good. I'm going to call him Rover.
How many anchors do you have now, Zen?
Let's see. I've got myself. I've got the meteor and the whale. Oh, and Robert's cell phone, I think. But
Oh yeah, I forgot about the meteor.
Meteor is off.
what is the limit? I know there's a limit. What is that based on?
There's no limit, but you can only have anchor if it aligns with one of your bonds.
Okay.
So you could have like 50 different whales
Awesome.
and a flock of birds, and they'd all be your anchor. So there's no real limit. You just have to match it up with your bond. Meanwhile, I think the meteor is like, oh, I found it.
What? Nice.
Yeah. So I'll be like, come on, Rover, and we'll go talk to Phineas.
Okay.
The
So
meteor has found its target.
So we're not there.
I don't think so. I think it's just Trek and Trek 2.
Yeah, we're gonna
Trek
go
Voyager.
we're gonna go find Finney
Cool.
and let him know about the meteor and see what the hell else is gonna happen, because it's been nothing but torrential bullshit since we got here.
Yeah, it seems to be
It's a
slowing
great
down
phrase.
except for
Torrential bullshit.
yeah. Are you just gonna let Tarte enter creation without your supervision?
Yep. Fine by me.
Okay.
And I don't know about it. I would know about it, but I'm also on a walk.
I'm just gonna say, Tarte doesn't know he can't leave the chancel, and the only thing keeping him here, there's no physical thing keeping him here, right? So he's just going to leave the chancel if no one tells him.
Yeah, I think that we do not cancel our character moment walk thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel the same way.
All right.
We'll argue it in front of the Locust Court later.
We'll deal with that, after the Earth is destroyed.
Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, you guys are talking
This was probably
about Meteor.
the worst decision we could have made, but we have to make it. It's going to be fun.
And I'm not even getting involved because the Traveler is traveling again, so it's all right by me. I don't care what you do.
Right. They're literally doing your estate. They're ignoring their legal responsibilities in order to go travel.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's good on you.
Fair enough.
Tarte gets a gold star for me.
So this giant entity pours through the gates of creation and then disperses into the world, and it's happy. It's like, yeah.
Okay.
Meanwhile, you guys are chatting about traveling.
No,
yeah,
so
you asked for me to follow you.
Yeah,
and I agreed.
So, are you okay if I set the next?
I assumed you would. Yeah,
go for it.
So, we've been. I think we've been walking for a while, and Will, you're gonna have to tell us how long it's actually been. But we were already outside of the chancel when we started. I think we've been walking for a while, and the point where I'd like to pick up is we turn a corner on and you see off in the distance there's where are we again? We're in rural Virginia or something like that.
Near New England, I believe.
I think it's more like Massachusetts or New Hampshire.
Okay. Basically, somewhere in the wilderness.
I think my real question is it rural or?
You're on a dirt road in the middle of nowhere because multiple miracles have been made to make everyone forget about this place.
Yeah, it used to be a highway before the chancel was made. It used to be that's why I was driving down it, and now it's not.
Yeah.
So, I think...
Which also means no one would know where to look for me if I went, because I'm missing. That's awesome.
Yeah, nobody knows to look here. There's no search parties.
Great. But we're outside of the chancel, right?
Yep.
So
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Where I'd like to pick up is we see a small... not like a large rural community. And in the community on a hill, there's an old Gothic cathedral.
Sure.
And it's made out of that, and this is off in the distance relative to us. And off on that hill with the cathedral on it, the cathedral it's made of yellow gray stone. It has those Gothic kind of spines coming off of it throughout. And it also, it has two kind of towers ending in steeples at the top, with a large stained glass disc right in the face, looking directly towards us. And as we kind of crest this hill and like turn this corner and crest this hill and look over across the valley of this large rural community, the light is shining down, and you can see the light shining through the stained glass very clearly. And in that you see a figure, and the figure is it's a man. It's a white male because it's the Catholic Church in New England.
Yes.
And he is young man in that sort of like Renaissance style, where everybody's kind of like soft, like he's not not like muscular, and he has that like curly Greek hair thing going on.
I know the style.
Yeah, and he's bound like this with his wrists above
A video, but I know what you mean.
To like a post, a large post that's behind him, and he's got bindings on his wrists or shackles. They're shackles, and there's like arrows piercing out of his chest in various places, and he's looking up towards heaven, and there's a halo kind of above his head, and that's the scene in the stained glass disc.
Is there flowing writing in the stained glass naming who this person is?
Nope.
Okay.
Nice. So
Nothing
I
like
think
that.
I'm gonna go Oregon Trail on you guys and say it's been about 2 days of walking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because you guys would be on a highway going 60 miles an hour. I assume it would take you at least 1 hour to pass through a stretch of land.
Totally. Yeah. No,
That's fine by me. Time seems to be rather relaxed in this game.
Also, one thing I want to note is that a property
rations.
of devils is that they're always with you. So whenever you like look somewhere, like Umaya is just laying on the ground nearby.
Like in plain sight, kind of like Death Note style, where no one else can see him, and he's very plain. Okay.
And this has been true this entire campaign. I want to highlight it.
We've been in the chancel or in other supernatural places for the most part.
Right.
Yeah.
So
man, the 7 days or 8 days or whatever it was on the space whale, but with Umaya just chilling there as well.
Yep. But so I have a question on that. Do we all see the same Umaya, or is it our own personal devil?
It's your own personal
Ooh,
version.
Okay.
Nice.
So what does dinosaur Umaya look like? Like sadistic Umaya I could see, but
right.
Oh,
I think
physically they look the same, but like you would see them in different places.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like they're not individually an incarnation of the estate of dinosaurs. They are always the incarnation of the estate of all of our estates.
Yeah, they're always dinosaurs. They're always sadism. They're always wanderlust.
Okay.
So I think as we do this, we see the site, and I think I say to can you see a smile on my face as I see this place?
A bright one, or sort of a suppressed, kind of like trying to play it down?
No, like a bright one, a peaceful one, a sense of rightness.
Okay.
And I think I say to you, tell me, Brother Robert, tell me about your family.
Robert's quiet for a moment, mulling this over, and he figures he goes through all of the reasons that he wouldn't tell you, I've only known him for not that long, et cetera, et cetera. But then he also goes through the reasons that he would. We fought together, we are literally supernaturally connected. That's unlikely to change anytime soon. He seems like your character and who he seems to be, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think, he describes his family. Oddly enough, I haven't given much thought to this. I didn't have names or anything. I'll do that right now. I think that his wife's name is Cynthia, and I think she is like being the housewife of a successful businessman is itself a lot of work. I don't think she doesn't have a full-time job that's separate from his. I think that she kind of helps him out with business and with more like she's not his official secretary, but she's definitely the more organized of the two of them, and so oftentimes she'll help him out with that stuff. He considers her sort of the very typical, like, the woman behind the man. She's the one who supports him in terms of emotionally. Without her, he doesn't think he would have been able to be nearly, not even remotely, as successful as he is. They also have one son together. I think he is in high school. They had him when, of course, they were younger. I think Robert is in his early 40s now. I don't know if I wrote down his age. And so, yeah, he talks mildly. I think he just says like it was challenging to sort of run your own business at the same time as having a newborn child, but they managed it. And I think that because it's so typical to have like the child that is just like the parent, I think that actually he describes his son as very different. He in the short time, I think he says to you, Phineas, I think he's probably more like you than me in the time I've known you. He's not conniving. He isn't a natural leader. But he cares about people. He's different than me. I guess he's more like his mom, but yeah. And what would I name Robert's son? You know what? I think he's going to be called like Robert Jr. or something, like named after Robert, but nothing like Robert.
Right. I love that. That's so good. I say, you'll have to forgive me. I don't know as much about you as I should. I know your name. I know that you're important. What
is it?
What draws you back into the world when you have so much power?
You continue. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
I think all Robert was going to say was a side quip. Like he was going to say, like, is it arrogance to just tell people to look at your Wikipedia page?
No, I like that better. That's better.
Yeah, he does answer your other question though. I think he says because none of this is mine. It is mine, but I built and worked for my business. I built and worked to maintain and grow my family. What this is, as gigantic, titanic as it is, it's happenstance, random chance. It was something that was thrust upon me, not something that I wanted, earned, or attained in any way beyond happening to be there. It isn't mine in any rightful sense, or at least I just had good or bad luck depending on how you look at it.
So I've been as like a player, but that's actually like Phineas being right. Like I'm actually like actively like I'm showing all the good body language. I'm like listening, right? Like this is me fooling you.
Like you might have actually gone to psych school at some point,
right? Yeah, totally.
Past.
Yeah, and I think Phineas has, you will think this is a joke, but God moves in mysterious ways.
You're right. After all this stuff, I do think that's a joke.
I think Phineas genuinely laughs. He says, "You," and I think as we're talking, right? Like I imagine that we're walking down the hill and like walking up the hill towards the cathedral that we saw in the distance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as you approach, like you can see people are pulling into like a parking lot to go to the cathedral.
Yeah.
It's time for a sermon or mass or something. I'm not too familiar with Catholic rituals, but
Mass makes sense. Yeah.
Yep.
yeah,
Yep. That's solid. It's about 10 a.m. It's about 9 a.m. on a Sunday, right?
exactly.
9:30
Exactly.
a.m. on a Sunday. Okay, cool. I love it. We can put this in a moment. So I think Phineas says, Robert, brother Robert, you know so much more about the world than I do. But there are some things that I do know. And though some of the facts about the that I had faith in 2 weeks ago have changed, the truth of the world hasn't. The truth of the world is mysterious. The truth of the world is God's will, and God's will, I believe, moves through. And I believe that if God wills it, you can you can see your family again. You can lead your business in the way that you want to, perhaps better than you've ever been able to be. I know this now with a certainty that I would not have had 2 weeks ago, and I believe that you have that certainty as well.
I could do it.
Without letting you respond, unless you'd like to, I think I put my hand on your shoulder and I say, I don't know if you believe, but in the last 2 weeks, I have developed a great deal of respect for you and just for you. Would you sit with me in this service for a couple of hours and then find a way to bring you back to your family?
Robert walks away from you and your hand and brushes it off and walks away and looks off into the distance. Probably at the partially risen, not partially risen, but in the sky sun at 9:30 in the morning. Of course, now we can look directly at it without having any issues.
Yeah, your pupils just get huge.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that he says, I don't know if you're right. I'm not the same person. Yes, I want my family back, but I also, it's you're not supposed to say this, but I like who I am now, and those two are incompatible to me. You're right. I could run my business better than I ever have. I could be with my family. But who I am now, someone who naturally causes and enjoys causing pain to the people around them, I would, even if I desperately tried to do the opposite, I would destroy them just by being with them.
I like that as a way to end this scene. I know what I have a feeling about what the next scene is between us, unless Robert, you want to set it, which I would also be fine with. But
I'm fine to continue the scene. There are a couple of things Robert would say. I didn't know if he wanted to respond.
no, I don't. Yeah, no, actually, okay, hang on. Phineas says, we must all grapple with our lesser selves. Even now, we are only human.
But no, we're not. Like he just kind of has a "what are you talking about" expression on his face. We're not human at like we're not only human.
Mm-hmm.
Not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We are like you saw what all of us have been able to do. Talking with the concept of like travel or whatever it is. I like look at me and the camera like zooms out and he's still like almost naked and like everything that's wrong with him.
Mm-hmm.
I survived a like bigger than a skyscraper. It was we're not human. And that's not true. I don't.
Yeah, you might have spent like part of this trip like crawling around like a caterpillar. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have any bones, so it's like flopping around.
Oh yeah. No, this is something that I can't really properly describe how my character is doing body language right now because that would be I am doing things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um.
Yeah, I mean, you can always act an aspect, whatever, right? So
Exactly. I think that
even without bones.
That's true. Yeah. I can still control my body perfectly, naturally, I think, using that in aspect 4. So even without bones, I can still move as if I had bones.
Yeah. It's pretty funny looking.
So I think I say, still looking off in the distance. He hasn't turned back to look at it yet. He says, I don't believe. I guess I didn't. I believe in evidence. I believe in truth. And obviously the truth is now that God does / did / maybe still does exist. So I guess I believe now, but beyond the whole him existing and angels a real thing, I don't know. I haven't been letting myself give it much thought. Not about that.
I ask, would you do me a favor?
He is silent, but his silence is basically means he wants to hear it first.
So the favor I'd like to ask for, I don't know this, but the favor I'd like to ask for is to come and listen to the teachings of the church every Sunday for a year.
That's a big ask, especially with other things that might be going on.
Mm-hmm. Is that literally, sorry, is that what you say?
In character, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Why? You've seen the stuff about the church. You see, like, they're wrong, at least about some things for sure. God is, like, dead. They don't believe that. We don't know who the heck Jesus was. Like, was he a nobilis like us, an imperador? Yeah. Why would I listen to them when I already know for sure that they're wrong?
Mm-hmm. I think I laugh and I say, You mean the Bible is wrong? The Bible was written by men. The Bible uh, has never been true. You said earlier that you were a man of truth, of facts, of science. Tell me now that, having lived the last 2 weeks, you believe there is not a force that moves in the world that is greater than yourself. Tell me that you don't believe that the soul that the soul matters, that there is good and there is evil in the, and that we have a responsibility to choose which side we're on.
I believe in everything you just said, Phineas. I believe that souls are important. I believe about choosing the right side. I believe in a higher power. And then he turns and looks and like pauses, walking back up to you. He wasn't far away. It doesn't take long. Says, but I don't trust it. With what I've seen of various higher powers, they are quite valuable.
I think I say, there is a world that you know far better than I do, where what you say is true. But I believe there is another world, one that you have not spent time in, where at least like once a week, we mere humans come together to grapple with these questions, to speak about morality, to think about what is true, to feel a connection with our brothers. I believe that if you spend time with us in this place, and I gesture to the bastion, with my flock, you can come to see the world in a new way.
Robert is silent for a long moment. He says, finally, whatever happened to us, I can now... actually, I have a rules question, Golden, with aspect.
Sure.
I have aspect 4 naturally, and it says divine force. Is that always on, or do I have to activate it? Like things like I have, more specifically, it says you have the strength of the bear, the mental speed of a computer, the senses enhanced as if by machinery, etc.
It is not always on, but you may take an action to activate it and then sustain it as long as you want.
I see. Okay. I don't know if I have actually activated it. At least in this part of in play, but I think Robert is aware of this, that he can do that whenever he wants to, and so I think he says like I can. He says to you, "I can think smarter than like a computer. I'm smarter than I was, even in the downtime that we've had on the whale. I've thought of a half dozen improvements to my business in terms of new and improved inventions. Why do you think that a bunch of just regular people would propose any new ideas, any new thoughts that I haven't already considered?"
I think I'm just going to say, will you sit and listen this morning, and speak with my flock? Pretend, even if you, I say, like, I know you don't believe. Pretend that you believe for this one morning. Spend time with us and see for yourself. And I'm prepared to set an intention here if we need to.
I don't think you need to. I think Robert says, fine. But first, I need new clothes.
Yeah, we can go shopping. I think we have time.
Sure.
Well, actually, I guess if I am using my aspect, I would use an aspect miracle sustain to act like my bones are fine.
If you'd like.
Yeah. So
So, because we're going to sustain that, let's write it on your character sheet under Action 1.
yeah, this would probably be divine force. I don't think even inhuman perfection would be able to do that if you have no bones. Divine force probably can. Actually, it's legendary master. You can control every single muscle system and portion of your body. So I'll spend 1 miracle point to activate and sustain legendary master at level 5.
Sure. I'll be nice and say you can activate that in the chancel. So I'll be free.
That makes sense. Okay, cool.
Otherwise, how'd you get out of there?
Yeah, I would actually have octopus out of there if that was true.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I have a question. Like rules wise, is it a difficulty 0 to achieve peak performance?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or just something that all Nobilis can do always.
Well, I guess define.
Yeah, sorry. What I'm saying, Primer, because I think unless Golden, you rule differently, like because I may be misinterpreting this here, but I don't think the miracle is measured against your current state. I think it's measured against like the rules as written, right? So a difficulty 0 aspect miracle is achieving peak human performance.
But if you have no bones, you are peak human perfection without any bones.
I would tend to agree with Golden on this.
I mean, it says right there, it doesn't count. It's the same with drunkenness, exhaustion, being drugged, being in agony. If you're too broken to act, you're too broken to act.
Yeah, it does say that.
Yep.
So I'd be at
I missed that. That's different from the previous edition. This is one of my weaknesses.
But if you have enough brain to pull yourself together for even a moment, you can pull yourself together for as long as you keep using aspect 0 miracles instead.
I think it means every action I have to keep using it.
Yeah, like it's a sustain.
I'd rather just sustain my level 5.
Just sustain legendary master.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, and I think that's probably the end of the scene. We can go to break and then see what
Let's take a break.
What Trek is up to.
What is Trek up to?